Good morning. Welcome to Expat Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandhian. Here at Expat Insights, we take external views of internal successes by foreigners, expats, and immigrants who have made Philippines their home and are doing good in the Philippines, either in business or in society. This morning, this Friday morning on Expat Insights, we have two guests, but we present you one first. His name is Richard Mills. He has been in the country for almost 11 years, Canadian by birth and by nationality, married to a lovely Filipina, and runs an headhunting company here called Solaire Associates. Also runs a forum awards called Asia CEO Awards, and he's here to talk to us about the event, Asia CEO Awards, which happens in November. Correct. And he's also here to talk to us about how to develop talent in the Philippines. Welcome to Expat Insights, Richard.
Thank you, Raju. Glad to be here.
And you've been here before, Richard.
I have once before. I was one of your first guests, I think. You reminded me. So about 3 or 4 years ago, I think.
That was 3 years ago. So how's life been since then?
Very good. Very good. Lots going on in the Philippines. Change continues, and mainly positive, certainly.
So what amazing thing has happened since the last time you were here, and you spoke to us about being a CEO or grooming a CEO at that time?
Well, I think at that time, Philippines was emerging as a premier BPO destination in the world, and since then, many people know that Philippines has become the dominant destination on the voice side for BPO, so quite a big success. And it wouldn't have happened without the success of Filipinos becoming world-class managers.
That's what has happened. And how has your business grown in the last 3 years?
Oh, about me? Well, it continues to expand. As Philippines does well, of course, it lifts, good times lift all boats, or whatever the saying is, certainly.
And the business of choosing and selecting the best CEO in the country, or choosing the best executives in the country, how's that going?
Going well, and I think it continues, as Philippines continues to diversify as an economy,
yeah.
So does our business. In the past, say 5 years ago, business process outsourcing was the main industry growing. But
right.
Today there's many industries, from tourism to banking to agriculture to manufacturing and so on. So it's quite an exciting situation.
So is your company, Solaire Associates, catering also to these new sectors which are growing, tourism and... Was it banking, you said, yeah?
Banking, another one, yes. With the investment grade thing, there's a lot more, investment type people coming in. The banking sector is more exciting. So yeah, so every time there's a new development like this, it does open up more, more work for us and more things we can help companies as they move into the country and try to expand and hire Filipinos.
Yeah, and so the image of all Philippines, you think, has improved in reality? From the external perspective, you think, as they claim?
Well, of course, I mean, if you achieve, you go from, say, 10 years ago, where there was, when I came here, where there was coup attempts every 18 months and rallies along Ayala every other week, to today, where it's ranked as the fastest growing economy in Asia, investment grade, fiscal status, the government fiscal status is very good. Improvements on corruption, still work to be done. No question about that. But certainly, from where it's come from in 10 years, I would say the change has been momentous. That's the only word to describe it, Raju.
My perception, I mean, this is might be a personal bias, Richard, but I think the country has cleaned up well. Even though some negative aspects have been exposed, but I think it's a process of cleaning up. What do you think?
Absolutely, and I think getting that message out is part of the, our going back to this Asia CEO Awards event is just to I think the reality has improved and cleaned itself, but in many cases the perception maybe not quite so much. And especially if I can say our Filipino friends, Raju, many of them read the headlines and they get upset about pork barrel, and so they should, but I think it clouds the improvements, the vast improvements that have been made in Philippines over the past 10 years. So this is part of the message of this is, let's expose the good side of Philippines. We all heard the bad. Let's just talk about the good, because there's much to talk about.
Yeah, I think that's just human nature, no?
It is.
That people usually look for what's wrong and who's to blame. So you and I are in another business. We are on the business of who's right and who's to recognize.
Correct. We want to be happy people. I want to be a happy guy and talk about happy things because there's lots of, and now it's easy. 10 years ago it wasn't, you know, it was a bit more difficult, but today it's easy. God, how can you not talk about happy things? So this is the idea of Asia CEO Awards, is to just talk about the happy side. And it's good. It's a good news story.
All right, so great, Richard. So I have a little surprise for you here. You're not alone on this show. I have your lovely better half who's going to come in after the break, no? And she's also helping you run the Asia CEO Awards. So you want to give us a little insight on how you're doing at the family front?
Well, I wouldn't say she helps me. I would say I work for her. She is the president of Asia CEO Awards. I'm an advisor, and I do get up and make my little talk. I'm more the pretty face that gets up in front and just talks my little talk, but she's the one who actually does the work.
So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a little break, and we'll call in Richard's boss to talk to us about the Asia CEO Awards. So I'm your host, Raju Mandian. Stay watching. This is Expat Insights, and we'll be right back after the break. Good morning. Welcome back to Expat Insights. Now we are not just with Richard Mills, the chairman of Asia CEO Awards. We are also with his lovely wife, Rebecca Bustamante Mills, who is the president and CEO of Asia CEO Awards, and she's originally from Pangasinan, the land of the Ramoses and the Shani. So welcome to Expat Insights, Rebecca.
Thank you, Raju. Thank you for having us.
So let's go to what we were talking about. Do you want to share this? How are you together as a family? How are you doing?
Why don't you answer that, Richard? I think it's better.
Well, we met in Toronto. Rebecca immigrated to Toronto and became a Canadian citizen, and we met there. And in a roundabout way, ended up back in Philippines for what was supposed to be a short time, but ended up being a long time. So, yes.
It's good times here.
Yes, yes.
So talk to us now about what you are doing with Solaire and Asia CEO Awards.
Okay.
What are you trying to achieve with Asia CEO Awards?
Yeah. Well, basically, we started Asia CEO Awards, Raju, way back 5 years ago for the Asia CEO Forum, 4 years ago, Asia CEO Awards. The mission for that is to make Philippines as the #1 business destination in Asia. And if we look at what's happening right now in Philippines, it's very positive, and we're very, very happy with the result. On top of that, we also want to recognize the achievers in our country to show the world the greatness of Filipinos and Philippines.
That's your objective, no? And in the last 5 years, how many have you highlighted? How many such Filipino talents or even non-Filipino talents have you highlighted?
Well, if I go back to the first year, like so many CEOs, and not only the CEOs, but also the directors, Filipinos who are contributing in their organization and in the community. And we've been doing it for 4 years. So if you look at it, like how many, I can't find out the number.
Yeah.
But it's huge.
How has the leadership and management style of the Filipino executive changed in the last decade since the advent of the outsourcing industry?
I think big time. Like right now, a lot of Filipino talent work like more the...
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
like more like the expatriate, like North American, when they came here and trained the leaders, and that's what they're following, and I think that's very good. Most of the companies now here, they're after training their managers, they're returning their expat home because they know that the Filipinos will be able
they
to
can find local talent.
Correct.
No?
Yes. Yeah.
In your opinion, Richard, how has the style and the leadership style and the management style of the Filipino executive changed in the last 10 years? How is it different today than it was 10 years ago?
Well, I would say it's clearly a very international and world-class management style. Very, not to put down anybody at all, but it's clear that the young managers today, when I came here, people managing, an international group was rare. But today we have 26, 28-year-olds managing 100 and 500 people, 1,000 people, still in their early 30s, managing many thousands of people, doing full, real international work, managing clients from global locations and so forth. So I just would never have dreamed that. And I myself, I must say, when I was 26, 28 years old, I could never have managed 500 people. Here, it's a dime a dozen. In the BPO sector alone, there's thousands of young people like this managing, many hundreds of people. So it's a remarkable transformation, no question.
Is the effect the same in all sectors, or is it just in the outsourcing industry? You mentioned tourism and banking. Has the impact has it been impacted, these two sectors too? And
well, I would say those sectors are the future. So what BPO has been in the past 10 years, growing, it's an industry growing from zero people employed to roughly 800,000 people employed today. The next phase of Philippines development will be in tourism, hospitality, banking, and some of these other sectors. But tourism is a major opportunity because of the casinos and other things going on here. So, so the impact hasn't been felt as much yet there, but that is happening, certainly.
That will be the next.
That'll be the next. Yeah.
In the previous years, or my perspective as a cultural consultant is, Philippines was a landscape of small businesses, family-owned, family-type businesses, and there was a very small percentage of global corporations. No, how is that changing? If it's changing, in your perspective?
It's actually changing already. We have a lot of multinational companies here now in Philippines, and if you notice, like HSBC, they're bringing everything here in Philippines. Same thing with a lot of not only BPO, but also in shared service businesses here. For example, Shell, they're bringing a lot here, right, Richard?
Yeah.
The setup that you run with Solaire, Richard, no? Do you regard that to be a Filipino style of setup, or is it a little more global? You have a small team, I understand, in Solaire, no?
Sure, but we feel the world is a global world today.
Yeah.
Filipinos, Canadians, Indians, everybody has to think of themselves as global managers. So this is our only focus, is how can we bring Filipinos up and international people to be real global managers. That's the focus for the future, no question.
In this awards that is coming up in November, no? What is the process of selecting the CEO or the company which is doing well?
Actually, the best person who can answer that is Richard, being one of the judges.
Go ahead, Richard. What is the setup?
We have 7 of the most distinguished, we feel, judges in Philippines. June Palafox, the activist architect, one of the most prominent architects in the Asia region. Bernie Villegas, one of the most premier economists of the region, and a number of others. Very diverse people, very strong-willed people, and we're going to have 200 or more. We expect nominations this year for roughly 11 awards. So putting that down to a small number will take a lot of work. KPMG oversees the process. They have a staff that collates all of the data and the background information, so the judges can go right to the heart of the decisions. But each year the decisions get more difficult.
Harder and harder. Yeah.
So June, Bernie Villegas, and who are the other 5?
Edward Chang, the Korean Chamber.
Yep.
director. We also have the Japanese chamber, I think Fujisan. Yeah. Then of course Richard Mills, Don Felbaum, American Chamber. With his Bernie Villegas and John Palafax.
So getting these judges must be a challenge in itself, you know, or even grooming these judges to judge. So is there a certain criteria on what they follow? Is there a format or a template?
Yeah, there is, in fact, through point systems. Like, they create this point system based on the criteria, the submission that they send, with the help of KPMG by scrutinizing the submissions.
So who is nominating, and how do I nominate someone that I think makes a good executive?
Yeah. Actually, everybody can nominate. You can nominate yourself.
I can nominate myself.
Yes, it's for free. You can nominate people that you think highly respect, or their group, their team, people that they think that deserve to be known. Like, as you know, in the Philippines, Radyo, Filipinos are very shy and they don't like to be known. They they work very hard.
Culture to be
that's our culture. But then it's about time also for them to be highlighted to the group. Without them, the company won't survive. Because in an organization, not only the CEO who handle the company to be on the top, but really the people. So it's about time that anybody can nominate whom they love and respect.
How does it serve them, and how does it serve the country as a whole for a person who likes to be humble and doesn't like to be exposed to come to the forefront and say, hey, I've done good and here's my recognition?
Well,
what kind of learning are we putting out from that process?
Well, me personally, Raju, it's very important. Why? Because they can use as an example to other people by working, by what they're contributing in their organization. Through that, they can use as an example to others to follow. What's your suggestion with that, Richard, your comment?
Well, if someone isn't interested in being recognized, that's their decision. We can't force them to be recognized. But by doing so, I can tell you, businesses are made because people get, you know, even being a finalist or winning one of these awards helps these organizations tremendously when they're recruiting staff, when they're getting new business. I can tell you the numbers of marketing information that's created with this information, you know, finalists for agency awards and so forth. It really helps their business when they're trying to get new clients, hire new people, and so forth. As well for the nation.
So you're saying that the individual who gets nominated and may be selected, and their companies get a little bit uplift to their brand?
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
It's a good marketing for them.
And this is the purpose. Yeah. We want to help their business, right? We want to show that, you know, an independent body of esteemed judges judge them as a high-quality organization. Go out and tell your prospective clients, bring business here so you can hire more Filipinos, expand, and so forth. Absolutely.
And you were on the verge of saying that it helps a nation in what way?
Well, it's very good to show the world the successes of these people. Like look, with that, it's good example to show. Like if you compare Filipinos right now anywhere in the world, what's happening, it's very, very good.
Cite an example of an individual or a company that was selected a year ago or the year before. Why were they selected? What were their characteristics, and how has it helped them?
Yeah. Like, for example, I mentioned to you Marife Zamora, a very successful...
Marife Zamora?
Yes, from Convergys.
Okay.
Like, running 38,000 organization in the Philippines.
38,000 employees.
38,000 employees. Think about that. Just that alone. Look
I
at
can't think about it. 38,000 is a nation for me.
Like, a Filipina doing that means a lot for our country. That means a lot for the country and for the Filipinos. Manny Pangilinan, also awarded as a Global Filipino Achiever.
Marife was awarded last year?
2 years ago.
Okay.
First was Manny Pangilinan. But of course, everybody know Manny Pangilinan. Who is he? Look at his achievement, his contribution across the industry in the Philippines. That means a lot for our country and for the Filipinos. Next, Marife Zamora. Last year, Doris, another industry. Doris Magsaysay. another Filipino winner. Why?
What company is that?
Magsaysay, they're more
Shipping?
Shipping.
Yes.
Okay.
They have 40,000 Filipinos around the world keeping job. That means a lot again for Philippines.
At this stage, the awards that is coming up in November, no? At what state are you now in? What part of the process are you in? Are you in the process of nominating right now?
Yes.
Or have the nominations been done?
Yeah. This is the last month of the nomination
Yeah.
until September 30th.
Yeah.
Okay. We received quite good numbers so far. And by end of September, the judges will start. So I recommend, or I highly say to everybody to please submit their nominations at www.asia-co.org award to be part of this incredible event for our country.
Yeah, and what exactly happens during the awards? Besides the awards, is there anything else that's part of the program?
We don't have time to do
I
much
know,
else. We
okay.
got a lot of
Yeah.
awards to go.
Or just the awards
Yeah.
itself takes up the whole awards?
Yes.
Now?
Yeah.
Entertainment, and
Yeah.
we have prominent speakers.
Yeah. We'll have the event will be like Oscar award concept, I guess I could say that, by recognizing the business people or achievers in our country. So we start with cocktail, and then we have performers, and from the performers we'll have a cross with the winners, and closing with the networking.
So tell me now, from your personal history, you being a little bit of a blend of Filipino with an expatriate, no? What about this whole process excites you, Richard and Rebecca, of choosing excellence in the Philippines?
Well, as Raju, I will tell you a little bit about myself. The reason why, again, when you mentioned I came from Pangasinan, I came from very poor background, left Philippines, went Singapore, and I've seen a lot of Filipino who work very hard. And also there's a lot of negativity that I've heard about our country and Philippines. Until I moved to Canada, I always wanted to do something for Philippines.
For your country.
For our country. Until I came back, bringing of course, my partner, my husband, to do something. And Richard, what loves me the most is he really loves also our country and the faith and love and belief for Filipinos. And through that, we came to the point and said, why don't we give something for Philippines? And here it is.
Richard,
Here.
how does it make a difference to you to do what you're doing?
Well, I think it's a lot of fun. It's an interesting thing to do, and I'm pleased to say Filipinos seem to appreciate it. And it, what I'm told is it does have a stronger impact, or a good impact. It's one thing for Filipinos to say Filipinos are great to work for, or Canadians to say that Canadians are good to work with. But when a non-Filipino comes and says, and we try to get as many up there as we can from different countries, Indians, Canadians, Americans, Germans, you name it, up there to say the same thing. Philippines is a great place to do business, and if we can do it, you can too. That's the message that we're trying to put across with this event.
And in the business of Solaire, where you are into executive headhunting, no? What percentage of the talent that you provide is now Filipino, and how much is it non-Filipino?
Okay, that's something that has changed tremendously from when I first came here. 10 years ago, most international companies had expatriates running them. Today, that transformation is almost complete now, where most of the times they would have Filipinos or other Asians running these organizations. So that's been a momentous change. A lot of our work over the past few years has been replacing expats with Filipinos or other Asians. Yes.
Is that a good thing, Rebecca, to you?
Of course, very good thing for our country and for the Filipinos. It's a good example to show that Filipinos are really capable of anything.
What about opportunities lost in learning from a community or a culture that's different from us? Because if you just use only one cultural background or one kind of a mindset, where will the new learning come in from if we start reducing the foreign input?
if you think about this, Raju, everything now is globalized. You can get any training around the world, even you're in Philippines. So I think it won't be an issue at all.
It won't be an issue
No,
at all.
I don't
because
think so.
There will be a seeping.
Correct.
All right. So let's take a little break, yeah? And then we'll invite the audience who's watching this show to come to the Asia CEOs after this break. Is it okay?
Thank
Good.
you.
All right, let's take a little break and we'll come back and talk to Richard and Rebecca Mills from the Asia CEO Awards. I'm your host, Raju Mandhian. Stay watching. Welcome back to Expert Insights. I'm your host, Raju Mandhian. We are talking to Richard Mills and Rebecca Bustamante, the President and CEO of Solaire Associates and Asia CEO Awards. No? So, Richard and Rebecca, you want to tell us how the process should happen in nominating? I mean, you did tell us, no? But is there something that you want to invite your audiences, the people who are watching, to do this?
Yeah, okay. I encourage everyone to submit your nominations.
Yeah.
Go to the website at www.asia.awards and submit your nominations. You can do everything online.
Yeah.
Okay, and submit or nominate anybody you think that deserve to be recognized. You think promote your organization or your team to be part of this big event for our country.
And Richard, your tips for budding executives, people who are hopefuls and becoming global executives and someday being selected as the CEOs of the country. What are your tips for them, for junior managers or people up on the leadership ladder?
I would say we learn from, there's lots of examples to learn from these days. And I think we watch who the finalists are and look at their backgrounds and just follow along with what they've done. There's lots of opportunities in Philippines these days, certainly.
That's one tip.
Yeah.
That's one tip. I think that's all. That's the main thing, Raju. I mean, there's good lessons to be learned and good opportunities in Philippines these days.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of people, a lot of Filipinos return from other countries in the past 6 months, I would say, especially a wave of very high quality, international experienced people. Our responsibility.
Your tips, Rebecca, for learnings for budding leaders, Filipino leaders. What are your suggestions?
Well, basically, I encourage all the managers or even team managers, directors to attend the HSU Awards and learn from the winners or the finalists and how to also be part next year. What are their stories being finalists or winners? For instance, how they start their vision, how they work on that, how they never give up, their discipline. Because everybody, sometimes we go through a lot of challenges. How they do that, how they hold that. Through that, if they attended the awards, they'll be able to learn from those people.
Okay, so persistence and learning from others, no? And what are your future plans for Asia CEO Awards in Solaire? When do you plan to take this in the years to come?
Well, we plan to continue, and we plan to do actually across Asia next year. That's basically the arrangement.
Not just Philippines.
Not only Philippines, but across Asia. Is that true?
Yes, and if I can say, the future we feel of Philippines is for it to become the regional hub of the Southeast Asia region. Places like Singapore and Hong Kong, very successful places, but they're also very expensive places, and the supply of labor is becoming, difficult. These are becoming the most expensive places on the planet to do business. Philippines has large numbers of smiling, nice Filipinos for you to hire, and lots of opportunities and so forth. So we feel that more regional operating headquarters will be coming to Philippines. So we have to make the event a true regional event, and we got to display people that are doing great, amazing things, whether they're foreigners, whether they're Indians, whether they're Filipinos, whatever. We got to have a real rainbow of people doing great things. Then we can say to the world, look at what they're doing, and if they can do it, you can too. That whole message.
And
That's
we'll take pride in that.
Yes.
Yeah,
We'll
so
take great pride.
send your
Correct,
nominations. We need your help to display Philippines to the world. That's
Right.
the purpose.
Fabulous. So good luck and God bless you on your trip, on this journey of highlighting excellence in the Philippines. No? So you can now announce your website and ask people to come there. You need to watch that camera as you announce the website. Richard, you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an easy process to nominate.
Yeah.
www.asia-ceo-awards.org and click nominate. It's all online. It's one page. It takes you 5 minutes if you're prepared to do it.
Yeah.
And we need you. If we're going to promote Philippines on the global scale, we need to have good quality people participating. So come on in with us. Glad to have you.
Rebecca, your final words for the camera?
Yeah, again, we would like to encourage everyone to be part of the AsiaCo Awards, and I believe together we can make it happen by promoting our country and people in Philippines.
So thank you very much for being on Expat Insights. Good luck and God bless with Asia CEO Awards. That's November 14, am I right?
Yes.
And that happens at the Do Sit.
No, at Solaire.
Oh, it happens
It will
at
get the
Solaire, so
Solaire
we've had a
ballroom.
little change compared to
Yes.
last
This is
year.
their huge new ballroom at Solaire, the most beautiful
the
thing you've ever
airport,
seen
yeah.
in Philippines.
Yeah, no, I've been there. It's nice. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Great. So good luck and God bless one more time. No?
Thank you.
Thank you,
and-
Raju, and I hope you're coming and bring your wife and your lovely
Yes.
daughter.
I will. Okay,
Yeah.
she's watching right now.
Yeah. And also, we would like to say thank you to all our sponsors and supporters with the awards.
Oh, any sponsors you want to mention? This is your last 1 minute.
Yeah.
If you want to give them
Sure.
a,
We would
yeah.
like to recognize Aseana City, Jones Lang LaSalle, and KPMG being our founder sponsors. We also have PLDT, Meralco, Shore Solutions, SPI Global,
Those are big
the
guns.
Ford,
yeah?
yes, yeah,
Those are really
in fact,
big guns,
yeah. And of course, also the judges. We would like to recognize them also for believing with the mission of Asia CEO Awards. And we
Well-
have so many supporters who also believe in that mission, and we would like to say thank you for continuously being with us.
More power to Asia CEO and Mabuhay Philippines, Rebecca.
Thank you, Raju, and you're part of the help too.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
All right.
very
So
much,
we'll be
Raju.
right
Thank you
behind
very much.
Okay. So that was Rebecca Bustamante Mills and Richard Mills from Asia CEO Awards. I'll see you next week with Ben Francia and Louis Francia. We're going to talk about the pen is mightier than the sword. They're both writers, and we'll talk about writing. Thank you for watching Expat Insights. Good night and mabuhay.